This amendment was created at the same time as the other nine, before the United States was created, the British dominated the colonies, and they would just simply take over a home and put their soldiers in the home and force the family that lived there to be displaced. They would use their food, they would use their livestock. And so when we created our colonies and created our government wanted an amendment in place that would forbid our military from simply walking into your home and taking over. It would protect the individual citizens' rights to privacy and to have their home and their family secure from intrusion by the military. Well, I don't believe this question has come up for a long time, at least in the United States. There hasn't been any sort of martial law or a time, in at least my recent memory, where the military has come into homes and simply taken up their homes. In Afghanistan and Iraq, our military does go and secure homes in villages. They actually keep our troops there for days at a time and do exactly what this would prevent them from doing on our own soil. And so I don't, at least in my lifetime, recall a time when this happened. It's just something that we don't do. Our military has the facilities to keep soldiers. Fort Harrison, there are bases all over the United States and all over the world where they are able to keep their machinery and their troops and house the soldiers. And so it's not really a question today, although I'm glad it's in place. The states would be basically run by the military. The military itself would be able to just walk into your home and take over. And there wouldn't be the separation of powers between the citizens and the government. The government is supposed to work for us and protect us and work at will by what we decide and what our representatives and our senators create, our government, the people that we elect to go in and represent us. If this didn't exist, then the military would just have free reign. They could just drive down the street and decide to take a whole block over or an apartment building and kick everybody out and house their troops there. It would be very different. You know, I don't ever remember this being talked about anywhere. It's an amendment that I don't think ever comes up. This hasn't happened, like I said, as far as I'm concerned, any time in my life. I can't remember the military taking over any property in the United States or putting a single troop in anybody's house. And so I would gather that most of the average citizens don't even know what the amendment implies and that it's there. It's not something that's ever talked about. I care. Mm-hmm. If there was ever a big enough event, an invasion to the United States, or military or martial law was imposed by our government because of a huge natural disaster, something catastrophic, New Orleans times 1,000, there could be a time when the military would want to come and take over towns, establish martial law, and they would want to take over your home. And I think at that point, we would have this in place, and there would have to be some changes, or it would have to be allowed by the citizens to happen.